Once you learn to tween, you have so much power. So when you frame by frame animating, that's for details. I need to animate fingers. I need to animate music notes. I need to animate things that have a lot of details. But if I need to get an object to move from point A to point B, tweening works really well. But there's a whole lot of power behind it. So I'm setting up some tweening so that this object moves to the other side of the screen. And I was saying there's power behind it. So here's how. If I click in between, I'm not on a keyframe. Normally I'd want you to be on a keyframe, but in this case, just somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter if it's like the second frame or the 29th, just somewhere between those two keyframes. Over on the right, and I have to look for it myself, there's a tweening section in this panels. And if for some reason you don't have the panels, just check to see under window what panels you have. I do need the edit bar. I do need timeline tools properties, but you should see this tweening area over here in this panel. And there's a rotate area, and you can tell it if I want it to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, and you can even tell it how many times you want it to rotate in the clockwise or counterclockwise motion. So now when I play this, it has to move 2 times in a clockwise motion because that's what I set it up to be. So again, that's just by clicking somewhere in the middle. I can change my rotation to be a clockwise or counterclockwise and set it up to 1 or 2 times. I only have 30 frames, so I can't make it rotate 50 times. It just is impossible. You'd have to be more realistic. I can move these frames around. I can drag this out to 60. So now it has 60 frames to rotate 2 times in that clockwise rotation. That all is the same as has been this whole time. So some other things I can do. Once I can rotate, I have so much power. So I'm going to take this back to 30. And on 60 though, I'm going to add another keyframe. And on 60, I want it to be over here, and I want it to be real small. So the tweening can even do the tweens for sizes. So just by 60, I made it smaller. I didn't make it smaller on 30 or frame 1. So only by frame 60 will it be smaller, but from 30 to 60, it changes size. So you can rotate and you can resize something. Some more things. I can, well, you already saw redirect there too. It's going one direction and now it's going another direction. So that's a redirect. So we have a redirect, a rotate, a resize. And the last thing that you can do with the tween, the power of the tween, is I can make something invisible. So you pick which keyframe you want it to be invisible by. If I want it to be invisible by 60, I would select that frame. I want it to be invisible by the beginning. So I'm clicking on frame 1. And in this case, I click on the object. And as soon as I select this object, this whole panel just changed. And there's a color effects panel. And I'm going to change that to alpha. And I'm going to drag that down. Alpha 100% is fully visible. But if I want it to be halfway visible or transparent, I can bring that down to like 50%. If I want it to be totally invisible, I want it to bring it down to 0. And so now it's invisible, but just on frame 1. Frame 30, it's still at 100%, and 60, it's still at 100%. The alpha channel didn't change on those. So it fades in. So it's invisible just on frame 1, and it fades in. That works really nice for text. So with your tween, when you learn how to tween and you master the tweening concept, you can redirect something so it goes one direction and then another. You can rotate something. You can resize something so it gets bigger or smaller, and you can also fade something out or fade something in.